Hey girls, welcome to another episode of High Energy Girl. And today I'm super excited to have Trina Felber on the show. And Trina founded Primal Life Organics and is totally talking my language because, as you know, I'm in the dental business and it was just awesome to learn from her. She had so much wonderful wisdom. And we didn't cover two things that I just wanted to lead with so that you know. She has a really cool all-natural LED teeth whitener that you can actually plug into your phone and naturally whiten your teeth. And I have a discount code for 50% off of that. So I will have a link in the show notes page that you can find at highenergygirl.com/show. She also has $10 off using a coupon, High Energy Girl, all in caps, all one word, to save 10% off her dental starter package. And that comes with a tooth powder, a gum serum, and a special toothbrush, tongue scraper, and some lip balm. And after you hear what she has to tell you, I'm telling you, you are going to definitely want at least that one, if not both, because the teeth whitener, the LED light, has really good healing properties for your mouth. And after hearing all these juicy details, trust me, you are going to totally want to take advantage of both of these wonderful offers. So without further chit chat, let's go say hi to Trina. Welcome to High Energy Girl, a podcast helping women to age stronger because it is never too late to get fit, be strong, and feel sexy. I'm your host, Tracy Gluheich, health coach and personal trainer and founder of highenergygirl.com. Each week, we will either have a guest interview, which will provide you an actionable tip to help you age stronger, or I will do a solo episode that we will have a fun challenge for the month. Please also join our Facebook group, High Energy Girls. Looking forward to seeing you on the inside. Hope you enjoy the show. Give a woman a fish, feed her for a day. Teach a woman to fish, feed her for a lifetime. Teach a woman to fish, end world hunger. Have you ever wanted to help people improve their health journey? Have you thought about coaching people with a keto lifestyle? Would you like to become an integrative health coach? Well, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, or IIN as we call it, is the largest nutrition school in the country. And in 2011, I graduated from their program and became a health coach. It was completely awesome. We learned over 100 different dietary theories and talk about craziness and confusion. My wish for you is that we can lock arms and create a tribe of health coaches all around the country, all around the world to spread the keto message. If this resonates with you and you would like to look into this option deeper, please go to my blog at highenergygirl.com and click on the link to the right of the homepage. Here you can grab the curriculum guide and see if it inspires you. Since I care so much about my listeners, I negotiated the very best tuition rate for you at IIN. Either you can contact them directly and give them my name, or I will introduce you to a counselor so you can decide if this is a good fit for you and your career goals. Let me know how I can support you in this coaching career opportunity. Hey Trina, thanks for coming on the show today.
Hey Tracy, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to geek out about oral care.
Yay, that's something I do frequently, and it's funny because most of the people I talk to about it have no clue like what I mean by, all the stuff. So let's talk. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my background is I'm a registered nurse, and a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, how did a registered nurse go from being a nurse to creating oral and skincare products? And long story short, I always say it's an extension of my nursing care. I'm still doing nursing, but I get to do it in a different way, promoting health and wellness. And I get to reach people all over the world. So it's really an extension of my nursing career. But it started back probably like 12 years ago. It was about 12 years ago. My husband and I got married, and I ended up suffering from a miscarriage at the age of 40. And that totally opened my eyes to what a toxic world we live in. I was very healthy and started to just scrutinize everything in my environment because everything I put in my mouth was healthy, but I didn't really care about the other things in the environment at that point. So I started just scrutinizing everything. And then one day I realized that the moisturizers and skincare products I was using were just loaded with neurotoxins and endocrine disruptors and cancer causing drugs. So I was pregnant again at that point, and I realized that these things weren't just affecting me, but affecting my baby. So I pretty much ditched everything because I'm one of those girls that I'm all or none. It's all or nothing. There's no middle of the road for me. So I pretty much ditched everything and said, if I can't make it, I won't use it. So I quickly learned how to make my own skincare products.
So I did that too. Back in 2007, I understood about parabens and how there was traces of parabens in almost all breast tumors. And so I had all this Bath and Body stuff that was just loaded, brand new, like all this stuff that I just threw away because I couldn't even give it away as a gift because how could I do that knowing what was in there?
I know, right? Like you're like me, once you know something, you can't turn that off. Like there's no going back. Yeah. And that's how I was. I was like, I got to get rid of all this. So I started making my own products and everything was working amazing. Like my acne that I'd had for 20, 30, 40 years was gone. It went away. My skin looked really good. Had a healthy pregnancy and everything was great. So I started my own skincare company and I had my daughter. This is how a nurse goes from skincare to oral care. My daughter, at the age of 2, ended up having a molar erupt with a cavity in it. It had a natural cavity. And we took her to the dentist, and the dentist took one look at it and said, it's a pretty good sized cavity, and this happens in utero. It happens usually during the time that tooth is being developed, and the mom has like a viral infection or something happen, and it just causes a defect in the enamel. So he said we'll put a temporary filling in that tooth, but pretty much we're probably going to have to pull that tooth within a year. So I went home thinking there's no way. I'm going to have to just do some research. I've been making skincare for a while and I've been doing great at that. So let me see what I can do about dental. So I started researching what is the tooth made of? What's the mouth cavity, like the environment? What do we need? And what I realized is if I keep brushing her teeth with the products that I'm using, I'm going to do her no good as far as that tooth goes, but also her health. So I happened to find Dr. Weston Price, who was a dentist in the early 1900s, way before his time, on his research and what he found, and still don't know why today most people don't know about this. But he did research about third world countries and why their dental health and overall health was really, really fabulous. And then those same people would come to the U.S. and start eating our diet and brushing with our toothpaste, and their dental health would decline. And then shortly thereafter, they'd have heart disease and high cholesterol and high blood pressure and diabetes. So he found that really what I discovered from him and what I put into my product is that clay is the perfect medium for brushing your teeth with. It's very detoxifying, pulls toxins out of your body, which is your mouth it's the gateway for toxins to enter your body, really. When you think about it, the things that you eat can have toxins in them, can have hormones, artificial things like flavors, just all sorts of things, not to mention bacteria, viruses, fungus, things like that. So you really do want to detoxify your mouth tissues. So it detoxifies, it gently cleans your teeth, it neutralizes acids, it's very alkalizing for your mouth. And when I give you the formula for a cavity, you'll notice I'm going to re-engineer that formula to create the formula for a healthy mouth and body. But part of that formula has to do with an acid buildup in your mouth, and clay will neutralize that acid. And it also has the minerals in it, the mineral content that your teeth need to remineralize. So I made a product. It's now called Dirty Mouth Tooth Powder, and my daughter's 10 years old. It has 3 different clays in it, remineralizes your teeth, and that tooth is still intact with the temporary filling that they put in, and the dentist doesn't know what to think.
Wow, that is so cool. Now, is it a permanent molar or is it one of the premolars?
No, she got it when she was 2. So it's supposed to be in her mouth until her early teens. Okay. So she's 10 and a half right now. And he expected to have to pull it within a year. And it's been perfect. That temporary filling, which really shouldn't have lasted more than a couple months, is still in place.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to try that toothpaste. So it's got the clay in it, and then what else? Does it have like coconut oil or?
So it's a powder. No. My theory behind the powder is so here's my game-changing thought for people about why we brush our teeth. I believe the ADA has us brainwashed into believing that we should brush our teeth to clean them. And that is completely wrong, because when you brush your teeth to clean them, you use products like they put out there on the market. And the products on the market are the formula for creating a cavity. The products that are on the market destroy all bacteria inside your mouth, and they create an acidic environment inside your mouth. Neither one of those create the health and wellness that you need. So let me back up for a second. Your mouth is the start of your immune system, and that is the place where you need a good microbiome to keep out harmful bacteria. When I'm talking about harmful bacteria, I'm not just talking about the bacteria that causes cavities and gingivitis. I'm talking about H. pylori and E. coli and other viruses and bacteria like that. That is the place inside your mouth that if you have a good microbiome, they can that's the environment that those bacteria cannot survive. So my formula for a cavity, this is how a cavity is created. It's the bad bacteria that lives inside your mouth, or that can be inside your mouth, plus the sugars and starches from the foods that you eat, creates an acidic environment, creates lactic acid. That lactic acid then creates plaque and demineralization. And demineralization is the mineral loss from your tooth. But there are things that you can change in that environment that will create an environment where you actually remineralize your teeth and change your entire health. When we talk about the bacteria inside your mouth, the products that claim to kill 99% of bacteria kill good and bad bacteria. How do you know if you have bad bacteria inside your mouth? The first symptom that you are on your way to either a cavity, gingivitis, or even internal inflammation, which those two things lead to, is bad breath. Bad breath is an imbalance between your good microbiome and the bad microbiome inside your mouth. And if you have good microbiome with an alkaline environment inside your mouth, you most likely will not have bad breath unless you have are dehydrated or on some medications that might cause it.
You know what? That is really interesting, because I know that all those a lot of the toothpaste on the market are not good, and I don't use traditional, standard toothpaste. But I also didn't think about that whole, putting the good bacteria in. And so is that coming from the clay itself?
So the clay itself clay is alkalizing. People use clay as an internal detox. It has to be food grade clay, but I do an internal detox with clay. Clay is very alkalizing for the body. And we all know, or we've heard through a lot of different podcasts and information, that alkalizing the body is the way to health. It helps cancer cells and harmful bacteria, things like that can't live in an alkaline environment. It's all about the environment. So clay itself creates an alkaline environment inside your mouth, and bad bacteria thrives in the acidic environment inside your mouth. Most foods are acidic by nature. Let me talk about your saliva for a second, because most people don't even think about the health of their body related to their saliva, but your saliva is a very good indicator of what your mouth is going to look like, and your mouth is the indicator of what your insides look like. So I could tell you to open your mouth right now, and I could diagnose whether you have internal inflammation or gut issues just by the condition inside your mouth, because it's that correlated. I might not be able to tell you if it's heart disease or if it's diabetes or if you're on your way to Alzheimer's, because they're all related to your mouth. But I can tell you if your condition inside your mouth is not alkaline or healthy, I can tell you that you have inflammation internally. That's how related it is. I'd relate it to a pyramid. The base of the pyramid I call leaky gum syndrome. Leaky gum syndrome is just like leaky gut syndrome, but it's your gum tissue. It's the exact same physiology. The destruction of the cells, inflammation causes the opening, the gaps that allow proteins, allows bacteria, viruses, and chemicals, toxins into your body. That's what happens with leaky gum syndrome. And leaky gum syndrome is basically any kind of inflammation, redness, breakdown in your gum tissue, all the way down to periodontitis. That's the base of the pyramid. If that doesn't get healed or it prevented, it can lead to both leaky gut syndrome or leaky brain syndrome. And both of those are internal issues. I like to tell people I have to change people's way of thinking because we've been brainwashed and we don't know it. But your entire digestive system from your tongue to your tail is outside of your body. That is still the outside environment. This makes people stop and go, what? And when I change their way of thinking, they go, I get it. So on your skin, we all think our skin is our largest organ of our body, and we should know that there's a microbiome that lives on our skin that protects us. Now think of this. Your tongue to your tail is still outside of your body. Your inside of your body doesn't happen until things pass through the tissue. Your protective mechanism is the microbiome from your mouth to your tail. And if you have a healthy microbiome, it will allow nutrients in. In fact, it's proven that if you absorb less nutrients when you have internal issues, when you don't have your good gut flora, you end up with leaky gut and you end up with digestive issues, and you don't absorb nutrients the way you really should. And that comes out in your saliva. Because your saliva contains minerals that are supposed to remineralize your teeth. And it's a full circle thing. If your entire gut is messed up, you have less minerals in your saliva, you make less saliva, your teeth aren't as healthy, and you're more acidic in your mouth. So it's a full circle type of thing. But if you consider that if you hang with me and believe that the gut is really an external environment, then you get how you really need to have a microbiome protecting you that leads to healthy tissue. If you have healthy microbiome, you have more of an alkaline environment in your mouth and you have healthy tissue there. And the same thing goes all the way through your digestion. If you have a healthy microbiome, you have healthy tissue. You are absorbing good nutrients into your body. You're not absorbing the bad stuff. Once inside your body, it's a free-for-all. You don't know where those toxins or that inflammation is going to go and going to land and cause you problems. It's different for everybody. And it depends on your weak points or your stress points or whatever's happening in your body at the time. But if you can change your thinking to believe, wow, that entire tube is still outside my body, I've got to take care to prevent internal leakage of bad things. It just changes the way you think.
Yeah, I can see that. It totally makes sense because it is not in your body until it is actually absorbed into your bloodstream or your tissues or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
So what do you recommend people do to make sure that things are good in there, like that they're able to, enhance their health via the microbiome?
Yeah. So let's talk about the mouth. Okay. So really quick, I'm going to give you a little synopsis of how come the mouth is the start of your digestive or your immune system. So we've all heard, or most people have grown up or heard the saying, good health starts in your mouth. Mm-hmm. Most people have no idea what that means or why. Like we just heard it and we've ignored it. But I'm here to tell you exactly why good health starts in your mouth. And if it starts in your mouth and you're using the wrong products and you don't have a healthy microbiome, that is exactly where health stops. And it totally makes sense when you think about that whole tube being outside your body, that if you open your mouth and you have poor oral health, and it's not the same as hygiene. Hygiene means you're not brushing your teeth. Health means it's poor health inside your mouth. You might be brushing your teeth, but it might be creating problems. But if you open your mouth and you have poor oral health, you probably have poor internal health as well. Issues going on. You might not know it yet, but there's internal inflammation there. So good health starts in the mouth. That might be right where it ends for you as well. That's why also H. pylori and E. coli are a problem, and other things like MRSA and things like that. Those things, you're exposed to things. They don't just show up in your small intestine or your digestive area. They came through your mouth. Mm-hmm. So that is where you are supposed to kill them. And once they get past your mouth, the environment lower in your intestines is an environment where those things thrive. Plus, you aren't prepared. You don't have the biome to prevent that. You don't have the environment to kill those things. So that's why things like that become more of a problem, is because they started in the mouth. And when you swallow, here's something to think about too. Let me start with where our digestion or our immune system starts. So let's go back to being inside our mother's womb. We're going to take you all the way back. You don't even remember this, but let me tell you what it was like. It was really warm. It was really dark, and it was really comfortable, and it was sterile. There were no bugs in there, and you were so happy. And for those people that were born a vaginal delivery, the reason vaginal delivery is the preferred method still is because the mother's vaginal canal has microbiome in it. It has healthy biome in it, bacteria that is supposed to be there to prevent disease and things like that. When the baby is born, that's the very first exposure to bacteria, and you want that exposure to be healthy. So the baby actually will absorb that bacteria into their mouth, and that bacteria feeds and seeds their entire immune system. That is the initial start of their immune system. And today, we're not babies anymore. That still holds true. What you are exposed to in your mouth is what seeds and feeds your entire immune system. So when the baby has saliva and salivates and swallows, the baby swallows that bacteria, and that bacteria feeds and seeds their intestines, which then grows the bacteria that they need to help create their immune system. When we destroy that bacteria inside our mouth with all of the antiseptic products that are out there that kill good and bad bacteria, we have literally stopped growing good bacteria, created an acidic environment, and now the only thing that really grows in there is the bad bugs that we now swallow with every sip of water, every sip of tea, every mouthful of food, and every time we salivate. We swallow the bad stuff, which then infests our digestive system. A lot of people can take probiotics and never fully heal their gut. And the reason is they're brushing their teeth with sterilizing products. And you're not starting your immune. You're missing the first 12 inches. The most vital 12 inches of your immune system starts right there inside your mouth. Does that make sense?
It does. And let me try to tell you what I think I heard so that our listeners can kind of break it down a little bit. So what I think I'm hearing is if you brush or clean your mouth with the conventional products, you are destroying the healthy bacteria and only leaving behind the danger or the bad stuff, so that when you eat or you try to take probiotics or something that's going to be actually good for your body, it's not actually getting in there because the healthy bacteria is gone.
Sort of. So it's not just the healthy bacteria. So there's two things. So when you brush with something that kills 99% of bacteria, you just have to stop and look at that like you took a massive dose of an antibiotic twice a day and just wiped out that. You know what happens in your gut when you take a massive antibiotic? It wipes out your gut flora. So brushing with something that's killing 99% of your bacteria is killing both bad and good. What grows faster is bad bacteria because you're exposed to it. You're not exposed to really good bacteria all the time. You have to sort of create that. So you're exposed to bad stuff all the time. People sneeze, you pick things up, you're putting things in your mouth all the time. You're always exposed to bad things. So the bad bacteria can grow really quickly inside your mouth. And then you go, what little good bacteria you grew, you just brushed your teeth and killed all that again. So you sterilized your mouth again. So on top of that, you're creating an acidic environment inside your mouth. So good bacteria grows in an alkaline environment.
Right.
So it's more difficult to grow good bacteria, even when you can or when you're exposed to it, if your mouth is always acidic.
Okay.
Foods are very acidic. So sugar is acidic, tea, coffee are acidic. Soda is really bad. It's a 2. And then red meat. Most foods are acidic by nature. The point of having saliva is, so your saliva has 3 different functions. Your saliva is supposed to wash away the food particles after you eat. It neutralizes the acids. That's the other thing it does. It's supposed to, the pH of your saliva is around 6 or 7. Your mouth really should be around a 7. Most people probably live with a mouth around 4.5 to 5 because of the products that we're using, the foods that we're eating, and we don't make enough saliva because our intestines, we've got internal inflammation, we're dehydrated and things like that. So your saliva is supposed to wash away the food particles and clean your teeth. Your saliva is supposed to neutralize the acids after you eat. And while it's neutralizing the acids, it's supposed to actually, it has minerals in it. That's your body's way of remineralizing your teeth. So your saliva is supposed to neutralize the acid, make it more alkaline. In an alkaline environment, good bacteria grows. And remineralization happens. This is where my formula for creating a healthy mouth comes into play. And then the last thing that your saliva, there's really 4 things. The last thing that your saliva does is when you swallow it, it takes whatever's in your mouth. So whether it's good bacteria or bad bacteria, takes that and feeds and seeds the rest of your immune system with that. So if it's bad stuff, you're feeding and seeding the bad bacteria down into your gut. Truly, to be totally honest with you, there's literature out there that says, and I totally believe this because I'm a walking, I do not take probiotics unless I start to feel sick. If you are healthy and it starts inside your mouth because your mouth feeds and seeds your gut, you do not need to take probiotics. The problem is we are destroying the first part of our immune system that is actually supporting the rest of our immune system, taking probiotics and hoping for the best. Mm-hmm. And that's really, it's not working for most people. You get a little better because you've got better bugs, you got a little bit more, but then you destroy it. And to be honest with you, the ingredients that are in, I call it toxapaste, but toothpaste, actually inside your gut, they did a study with Triclosan, and Triclosan, they found that Triclosan leads to colon cancer, it leads to inflammation inside your gut, and it leads to leaky gut and all sorts of internal issues. But what's interesting is they didn't do a study of what it does to your mouth, because the little amount of Triclosan that you probably swallow full strength inside your mouth is just destroying your mouth tissue and your biome.
You know, it has actually been banned from personal care products.
Really? It has Triclosan?
Yeah, but you know what? Here's something crazy, because one of my clients, I just had to teach them about this the other day, is that Colgate is fighting with the FDA and is the only company that I know of that has not removed it from toothpaste. Is that ridiculous or what?
Well, it's my belief that it's death by design. Like really, the big companies out there that mass produce all this stuff, there's nothing in toothpaste that it's going to make your teeth healthy or strong. There's nothing in toothpaste. I mean, it's loaded with fluoride. We know fluoride's a neurotoxin. It does not strengthen your teeth. It actually replaces the hard minerals that were put in your teeth on purpose. It takes those out and replaces it with fluoride inside your teeth and weakens your teeth. And then internally, it's a neurotoxin. The other ingredients that are in toothpaste, typical toothpaste, are glycerin. Glycerin, interestingly enough, is also found in a lot of natural toothpaste. Glycerin puts a coating on your tooth. It's like a saran wrap. So when I talk about the minerals, your natural way of remineralizing your teeth is through your saliva. When you brush with something that has glycerin in it, glycerin puts a coating on your teeth and those minerals wash right by. And so the coating of glycerin prevents you from feeling sensitivity to hot and cold. That sensitivity is your signal that you have demineralization. You have more minerals leaving your tooth that are not being replaced. If that continues and you wear down those holes deep enough, it will get into your dentin and cause a cavity. The interesting thing is you can stop that process, but you have to use the right products, and you cannot use glycerin, because when you salivate, those minerals wash right by. Glycerin puts a Band-Aid coating or a saran wrap coating over your teeth.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So really the whole formula for a cavity of bacteria plus sugar and starches equals lactic acid, which causes plaque buildup and demineralization, is a formula for for cavities and for the drill fill bill cycle, for putting you on medication because now you have internal inflammation. That's the formula. If you're using it, that's where you're heading. And I don't want to scare people. I want to bring awareness that that doesn't have to happen. It's super simple to get your oral health in balance, get your microbiome in balance. Let me switch that formula around. So the formula for a cavity can be converted to a formula for a healthy mouth. So simple. The only thing I'm not going to play with on that equation is the sugar and starches, because in my opinion, and you being health-minded will know this too, there's no way you can cut out sugar and starches from your diet. So I think that we should be healthy in our choices and choose the healthiest choices for our body, but you can't cut that out of the equation. So anybody that tells you just get rid of the sugar and starches and you'll be fine, no, that can't go. What we can play with is the bad bacteria inside the mouth that feeds off of the sugar and starches and the lactic acid. Because if you take either one of those or both of those out of the equation, you have just destroyed your cavity chances. You've just literally eliminated the chances for cavities happening, and gum disease, by the way. So what do we do? How do we change that? So you change what you're brushing with, because you stop brushing with the stuff that's killing all the bacteria. Bacteria is not all bad. That's where we've been brainwashed. We believe in society that bacteria equals bad. But bacteria, like I talked about before, you need bacteria. You are literally a walking petri dish. You are just carrying bacteria from spot A to spot B. And you just really need to make sure that the bacteria you're carrying is good, because there's more good bacteria in you, or should be more good than bad. And really, without the good bacteria, you have no health. You have no healthy defense. So let's switch that inside your mouth where your immune system actually starts. So by choosing the right products, you can actually regrow your good bacteria. It takes approximately 3 to 4 brushings, and continuing on that path of brushing twice a day, even once a day, 3 to 4 brushings to actually destroy your microbiome inside your mouth, your good biome. It also takes about 3 to 4 days to rebuild your microbiome. So it doesn't take long to restore your good bacteria. You just have to, it's an all or nothing. You have to stop using the bad stuff that's killing everything and convert to the good stuff that's actually going to rebuild the bacteria. So if you create good bacteria, even when you eat sugars and starches, you aren't going to be feeding bad bacteria. The good bacteria are a little bit different enzymatically, so it's not going to affect them. It's not going to create the lactic acid buildup. You're actually creating the environment that good bacteria live, which is more alkaline. You're going to have better saliva production. You're going to be feeding and seeding your gut, which means your gut's going to heal and get healthy. You're going to be able to absorb the good nutrients inside your gut that you're taking in through food or supplements or whatever you're doing. You're actually going to absorb better. So you're not going to have the bad bacteria, and you're not going to have the acidic environment. You're going to have an alkaline environment. Cavities don't happen in those environments. Gum disease doesn't happen in those environments. And when you open your mouth, you see healthy gum tissue. You don't see a yellow crusted tongue. Your gum tissue looks healthy, pink, and your teeth look healthy. They're whiter. They're healing. They're healthy. Your breath isn't bad. Your breath actually feels and tastes and smells good to you.
And what about gum health? Like, I know that you have a serum for gum health. Tell me how that works.
So I think really, I sell them individually and I sell them in a package. I sell my Dirty Mouth tooth powder and the gum serum. I believe that both of them are extremely important because they both do different things. So the tooth powder cleans your teeth, detoxifies, pulls the toxins out of your gum tissue. Clay has it's an ionic bind. Clay has a negative charge. Toxins heavy metals, things like that, have a positive charge. So once they bind, they don't release in the clay. As you're brushing, you brush those out of your tissues. The clay will help whiten your teeth and rebuild your enamel with the minerals. The gum serum is really important for your gum tissue. The serum was made with an olive oil base. A lot of people do oil pulling. And oil pulling is done for a couple reasons, but most people use coconut oil because it tastes better than olive oil, but olive oil is actually better for your gum tissue. It's got more nutrients and it's more detoxifying. So I use olive oil. It's an olive oil base and it has 11 essential oils. The essential oils help increase blood flow, decrease inflammation, speed the turnover of your cells, and helps to heal your gum tissue. So it's really supportive. If you don't have healthy gum tissue, it can really affect not just the roots of your teeth and your teeth, but your bone tissue underneath there as well. So you really want to make sure that your gum tissue is healthy. Not to mention that when you have leaky gum syndrome, which is what I was talking about earlier, where your gum tissue is inflamed, it might be pulled away, it might bleed. You can get pockets of inflammation, plaque buildup. Plaque is basically bacteria that has created a home. The same plaque that is found in your mouth is the exact same plaque that is found in heart disease, in the arteries, clogged arteries. It's the exact same plaque. It's not by mistake. It gets absorbed into your gum tissues and it finds its way through your body. So it's it's the same plaque.
Yeah. And there is a direct correlation between oral health and heart health. And I've read that in like Scientific American, and since dental is my space that I've been working for the last 3.5 years, I'm really aware of all that. And I actually, I wrote this little ebook called "It's More Than a Pie Hole." Now I'm going to have to edit it after talking with you to add some of your great wisdom, because I really like what you're saying about the microbiome, and I never thought about it that way.
So here's the other things I'll blow your mind with. So yes, the plaque is the same. That's why there's a correlation, because, and this is why people don't, people understand or hear good health starts in your mouth, but that's it. That's all they hear. We don't know anything else, but that's where it ends too, because if you've got plaque in your mouth, when you open your mouth, if I see plaque, I can probably say you've got plaque in your arteries. Why? Because it's the same plaque. That's why your mouth is an indication. If you have gum disease, you have the bad bacteria inside your mouth. Did you know that the exact same bacteria that causes gum disease has been found in the brains of dementia patients, people that have died from dementia? They've actually done some studies, and they have found that bacteria in the brains of people that have dementia. So there's a direct correlation between the bacteria in the brain and the bacteria in your mouth. Here's another thing that's going to blow your mind, especially for people that are still using the aluminum deodorants with the antiperspirants that block sweat. And I call this death by design as well. So the fluoride that's in toothpaste there's a couple ways that things can get into your brain. They're like little gatekeepers that open the gate or close the gate for your leaky brain syndrome. Fluoride actually opens the gateway for aluminum to enter your brain. So if you're brushing with fluoride, using an aluminum antiperspirant, your brain is at risk double, because not just the bacteria inside your mouth, but now the aluminum, and you've got a double whammy for possibly getting dementia. And it's simple. You can avoid it.
Wow. I didn't know that. My mom has Alzheimer's, and I've tried to change her diet, and she's like, oh, it's too hard to eat that way. I'm like, oh my God, Mom, what's harder, losing your brain or ditching your crackers? Come on.
Right.
So frustrating.
And it's not hard. Like the dental care, which is really interesting. The dental care, we're not asking you to do anything different to your routine. It's just changing what you're using. You still brush for 2 minutes. Instead of mouthwash, put on a gum serum. It's just one or two pumps or drops or whatever it is on your gums, and you're good to go. And it's totally different. It's a completely different experience than brushing with toxicity. Toxicity leaves your mouth dry and dehydrated, and full of bugs. But when you brush with clay, it pulls those bugs out of your mouth and creates the environment where good bacteria grows. When you swallow, you're swallowing good things that are seeding and feeding. I can't tell you how many people. I had a woman email me not too long ago. She started using my Dirty Mouth tooth powder, and she said, "Call me crazy." She goes, "I don't know. I don't know if you can explain this, and I don't know if you've heard this from other people, but I've been brushing with Dirty Mouth tooth powder for just about a week, and I swear all of my symptoms of my body are going away."
Wow.
And I said, it's because you're restoring your oral biome, your immune system starting in your mouth. You're swallowing that. You're feeding and seeding your gut. Your gut can heal now. And then when it heals, you're absorbing good things. You're not absorbing the bad things. Like, people don't realize it, but with leaky gut, most people have leaky gut at some degree or another. And you start absorbing things that are toxic for your body. When your body has to deal with that, it can't heal. It creates inflammation, and you don't know where that inflammation just might be you feel awful. Might be like you can't think as straight. Might be that you don't want to get out of bed in the morning. You change one thing in your microbiome. That's why babies are born. You're born with a sterile mouth. You develop your immune system inside your mouth after delivery. Regardless of whether you're a vaginal or a C-section baby, it still starts inside your mouth to what you're exposed to.
Yeah, I knew about that. And then they're doing like weird, crazy, like fecal transplants and things like that. I'm sure you've heard of that to help those. Yeah, that's pretty intense.
And that's really just the opposite end of the spectrum when you've destroyed so much of your biome that the only answer is giving you someone else's poo and bacteria. I mean, that's all it is. And it's the same thing with probiotics. Like, why take a probiotic and then eat, brush with something that's sterilizing your mouth and you're swallowing all the acid and you're not swallowing good bacteria, you're swallowing only bad bacteria. It's the probiotics really not going to work. It might help, but it's not necessarily going to work. I know there's probiotic rinses for your mouth. You don't necessarily need those. Like, I don't use them. I don't need them because I'm not destroying my good bacteria. My good bacteria is there related to my environment that I'm in and what I need at the moment. That's how your immune system works. It's supposed to change with your body and the environment.
Yeah. So where can I buy this tooth powder?
So primallifeorganics.com is the website. And I can give you links if you want.
Okay.
And actually I could give, like, if anybody wants like a $10 off the starter kit, my dental starter kit comes with my 1 month supply of Dirty Mouth tooth powder. It comes with my activated charcoal toothbrush. So the brushes, the bristles of the brush are actually infused with charcoal. Charcoal helps to detox the body, just like clay, very similar to clay. And it helps to detox your mouth a little bit, and it helps to whiten your teeth, but it also helps to break down plaque. So brushing with the activated charcoal toothbrush is great. It has the gum serum in it. It has a lip balm, and then it has a tongue scraper, because if you really ultimately want the best oral care, you would scrape your tongue, and it takes less than 10 seconds. That will help scrape off that bacterial coating on your teeth. It's basically a biofilm on your tongue, and that biofilm can cause the acidic environment and help prevent the growth of your good bacteria. So really scraping your tongue. People that scrape their tongue say, "I'll never not scrape my tongue." So when people say that, you should listen. When they go, "I'll never not do something," listen to what they're saying, because
I scrape my tongue. Oh my gosh, everybody should. Otherwise you have that little coating on there. So let me ask you a question, Trina. What kind of a diet are you eating these days?
So I eat pretty clean. I do primarily, I call myself a vegan, or a cheating vegan, because I do eat meat, but I don't eat a lot of meat. So I eat mostly paleo, and I've pretty much cut out sugar from my diet. I don't personally, because it doesn't work with my body chemistry. I notice that I stink really bad after I eat sugar, and I can totally tell, since I don't eat it, what it really does to my body. Like, I get dehydrated and I feel miserable. So I eat pretty clean and pretty healthy.
Mm-hmm. I just never know with people, like, right now there's so many, from carnivore to vegan to paleo to keto and everything in between. So
I know. And what's interesting, I think, you really have to play around with a couple different things and customize it to yourself. Like I was strict paleo for a long time and then realized I'm just eating too much meat. So and it's not that I don't like meat. It's just, I don't need that much meat. I love vegetables. That's more my thing is vegetables and, things like that. So I tend to eat more what my body, but I listen to my body. When I want a burger, I chow on a burger. So I just sort of listen to my body and what my body wants, but I try to keep it healthy. For me, it's sugar and gluten are evil for my body. So I try to cut down on sugar. And by the way, just so everybody knows, inside your mouth, sugar, table sugar and honey are the worst two sugars for your teeth, for the bacteria inside your teeth. Honey, I'm not saying don't eat honey because honey has good medicinal type of properties to it internally, but just be aware that honey is probably just as bad as table sugar. So what that means is maybe just making sure you swish your mouth out after you drink or eat something that has honey in it. And taking a little bit of extra care. I think knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. So when you know these things, then you can do things that might help improve you, not to cut them out completely. Like I said, you can never cut sugar and starch out completely. I'm not being unrealistic, but just knowing what it does makes you make better choices.
Yeah, you go from compliance to commitment. That's what I say, because I don't, like the gluten thing, I do not do gluten, and I'm very, very committed to that. And I do not eat table sugar. I would say 99.9% of the time I don't have any sugar in my body. But of course there's sugar in things like vegetables, there's a little sugar, and I do like an almond milk or, a coconut milk yogurt, and that has a little bit of sugar just from the coconut or the almond,
Right.
So,
and what I say too, what I think is interesting too is, for sugar, here's something that people might not quite realize. Your brain cannot decipher sugar, like real sugar, from fake sugar. And by fake, I mean like stevia, the natural type things that may not affect your blood sugar, but your brain cannot decipher. It tastes sweet. When your brain tastes sweet, it wants more. Mm-hmm. What I find really interesting is the first thing people do when they get out of bed is they brush their teeth with the artificially sweetened toothpaste. And that literally, like if you get one thing out of this podcast, maybe this might be the nugget that you get. If the first thing you brush your teeth with is artificially sweetened and your brain can't decipher that and all it thinks is, I want more, I want more, I want more, you might have just demolished your success for the day at any type of diet or health food type of practice that you might do, because you've already fed that sweetness to your brain where it can't decipher. So what about switching? So most of my tooth powders are unsweetened. Brushing with something that's not sweet sets you up for success. Your brain isn't instantly going, I want more sugar, I need more sugar. Because once it wants more sugar, then you've ultimately just lowered your defenses, and maybe you're not going to choose the healthier sugar. It's now, a donut when you run to pick up your coffee, and you don't realize it was really just because you brushed your teeth with something that had sugar in it or sweet artificial sweeteners. So that's a golden nugget that people can use, because it's biohacking your brain and your body just a little bit by knowing that if you just stop brushing with something that tastes so sweet, you might actually be able to stick to your diet a little bit longer that day.
I love it. That is great wisdom. That right there is awesome. So really quick, so when you have your mint powder, is it just has the mint from essential oils or from fresh mint or?
No, so it's essential oil. So my tooth powders are 3 different clays. It's got the white kaolin, bentonite, and French green. They're all mineral rich. They're all filled with other nutrients that are great for your gums and your teeth. But the French green, my favorite is the French green, because it actually is from the sea. So it's green, and it's got the chlorophyll, the phytonutrients from LJ and other plants. So it's really, really good for your teeth and your gums. And then it has just a touch of baking soda in it that helps to neutralize acids as well and alkalize your mouth. And then the flavor is from the essential oils. So peppermint tastes like peppermint, and spearmint tastes like spearmint, and cinnamon tastes like cinnamon. And everybody, most people love them, and they don't have any artificial or natural, no flavor, no sweeteners in it. I do make 3 different flavors that are sweetened with monk fruit. And I usually tell people the wisdom I just gave you about sweet. I usually tell people, most people love the peppermint and the spearmint without the sugar. Those are my best selling without the monk fruit. Go with the ones that are not sweetened with monk fruit unless you absolutely can't, unless you really are someone that wants that sweet flavor. So monk fruit is not sugar. I'm not sure if your audience knows about it, but monk fruit is actually an antioxidant. So the sweet part of the monk fruit is an antioxidant. That's what we put in to sweeten the flavors. And the only reason we did that is because knowing people are coming from the sweet flavors of toothpaste, it might be easier for them to convert to the tooth powder. And for kids. So kids, I have a bubblegum flavor, and the bubblegum flavor has a little bit of the monk fruit in it as well. But again, if you can go with just the regular flavor, which actually tastes super good, it just tastes like peppermint or spearmint, go for that, because you don't want to set your brain up going, I want sugar all day.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. That's why I always tell my clients, to have, if they want I'm keto, total full-blown keto. And I always say to my clients, if you want a treat, save it for the end of the day. After dinner, you could have a little something so that you're not craving it all day and pigging out on it,
It's a mind trick. It really is. And it's more than a mind trick, because it's really, there's basis to it. It's real. If once you have something, think about it, you reach into the bag of, even if it's gluten-free chips, you reach in thinking, I'm just going to have one bite. And there you are 6 times later, back in your pantry. I do the same thing with your hand in the candy jar again, going, gosh, I knew I shouldn't have started. Because once you start, you don't need it, but your brain is like, yeah, give me some more of that.
But oh my God, I'm that way, Trina. I'm that way with nuts. I cannot eat nuts unless they're on something. I cannot do handfuls of nuts or they're gone.
I'm the same way. I'm totally the same way with that. And I'm guilty as charged. I do that with cashews on my downfall. I say I'm going to have 6 cashews or 6 walnuts. And there I am going back for my third 6.
Oh yeah. We live on a farm. Check this out. We have 4, 5, 6, 7 walnut trees. And my husband's like, where are the walnuts? From last year or whatever. I said, they're gone. He's like, what? They're already gone? But yeah, so
I'm the same way. I try to put them in salads, like you, because if I eat 1 or 2, I'm just, my whole hand is in there, and I'm just,
That's my rule, either on a salad or in yogurt. But I just do not eat nuts plain.
Yeah, I totally agree.
They have to be a condiment.
So really quick, let me just explain how you use the tooth powder, because people might be like, that's weird. I don't know. So it's really easy. You wet your toothbrush, and then you just shake off any excess water. And most people, I bet 95% of the people dip their toothbrush right in the powder. And what stays on the brush, you don't need it heaping. You literally dip the tip, the brushes in, and you pull it back out. And what's on your brush is all you brush with. It's concentrated. It's nothing but the real thing. So you don't need much. And then you just brush for 2 minutes the way you normally would. And then when you're done, I usually recommend the gum serum. Just a little bit of the gum serum on your finger, rub it on your gum tissue, and you're good to go. So it's really super simple and easy. For those people that are like, I can't dip my toothbrush over and over in, clay does not grow bacteria. That's why it's so perfect for your mouth. It only supports alkaline. It's not putting the good bacteria inside your mouth. It's supporting the environment where bad bacteria can't grow and good bacteria can. So dipping your toothbrush in it won't necessarily grow bad things in it. But if you really want, you can take a little scoop, something like a little spoon or something like that, a little scoop, and just dust it on your toothbrush if you really want to. So that's
How long does one of those little containers last?
So I have 3 different sizes. I have the mini, which is a 1 month supply for one person. So there's 60 brushings in it. So you can brush your teeth twice a day for 1 month. And then I have the next size up is a 1 ounce. And that really does have almost 4 months in it. We usually say around 2.5 to 3, or 3.5 to 4 months, just give or take how much people use on their brush. So there's about 200 uses in the 1 ounce. And then I also have a family size, not necessarily only for families, but it's a 4 ounce size. I make this really nice wooden bowl, or it's a wooden container that has a slide, a magnetic slide for the lid, so you can put your tooth powder in. So a lot of people will buy the refill and put their tooth powder in the wooden container because it's so easy to use and less chance to spill it. That's the biggest thing people struggle with sometimes when they start using it, is how not to spill it. But once you get used to using it, it's super easy. Kids actually convert really well to it. They actually really like it. And for moms out there, I do have 2 tricks for moms converting their kids. And I recommend the bubblegum flavor for kids that are especially like 7 and younger. Older than that, the mint might be okay. But sometimes younger than that, they feel like they say the mint is spicy. But to get kids to convert, I usually say, first of all, let them watch mom and dad brush their teeth with it. And what I usually tell the moms is, so show the kids in the container, the powder is like a white color. Brush your teeth and spit. And when you spit, the clay turns dark and it looks like mud. So you can say, oh my gosh, look how dirty my teeth were. They were so filthy. Let's see how dirty yours are. So it gets the kids stopping, not thinking about it's a different thing, but they want to know how dirty their teeth were. And it also helps them learn to spit so they can see how dirty their teeth were. The other trick is if the kids really don't want to use it, what you can do is dip the tooth powder in so you're getting some of the good stuff, and putting just a little bit of their regular paste on, and then slowly just weaning off the regular paste. And a lot of times kids don't need that. They really like the challenge of how dirty are your teeth.
Yeah, that's good, because that's when you see, like seeing's believing, right?
Right. And kids like that. It's a little science project. Give them the science project. They love that.
Oh, I love it. And get them started early. When I raised my kids, I did not know. I started studying nutrition in 2007. And so I raised my kids on crap, kid cuisine, just the way I was raised. And so there was a lot of undoing. And I think it's so awesome when moms are raising their kids, healthily and all naturally whole food, and learning all these tips and tricks is so important.
And you know what? If you think about everything that I talked about, how your immune system starts in your mouth, my kids don't get sick that often. They've been brushing, and you can start your kids as soon as they're interested in a toothbrush. Give them a toothbrush to just gnaw on. Like my kids were like 6 months old and they were holding a toothbrush and just kind of gnawing on it. And then you can put the tooth powder is safe for them. So just put a little bit of the tooth powder. Even for their gum tissue, the tooth powder is very good because it helps to pull toxins. And those teeth that are coming in will still get to absorb some of those nutrients or the minerals from them. And the gum serum is, if you get kids started on it young, they love it. They love it. So all of my products are safe for kids to use and healthy for them. And if you start them young enough, they don't know anything different.
Yeah, that is awesome. I love it. So how can people find you, Trina?
So they can find me primallifeorganics.com. I'm also on Facebook, Primal Life Organics, Instagram, Primal Life Org. Twitter is the same, Primal Life Org. I'm all over the place.
And they can just order directly off your website, right?
Yeah, we're getting ready to launch some of our tooth powder. So if there's a Walmart near you, we're getting ready in March. I don't know when this is airing, but we'll be starting out in some Walmarts and for some of the tooth powders. And then iHerb is going to be carrying us. There's a couple places online that are going to be carrying us, and we're getting into retail this year. So start looking for us in different retail places when you're shopping.
Oh, that's awesome. Love to hear that. I mean, we need to have options when people are just at the store and they're looking around, and that's fantastic. Good for you, girl.
Thank you. We're excited.
Oh, I bet. I'm excited. I'm like on your website ready to order. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on our show today, Trina. You are just a doll and just a delight.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my gosh, was that not wonderful? I learned so much myself, and I thought I already knew quite a bit about holistic healthcare, and especially in the oral cavity. Anyways, don't forget to go on the website, on her show notes page, and get those discount codes, because those are really good deals. And it sounds like we can save lots of money with other products that we're already using to bring about a healthy gut microbiome. And Trina is just so cute. So thank you so much for listening. And don't forget to visit the show notes page at highenergygirl.com/show, where you'll just click on the show and can head on over to the juicy details and get those awesome links. So thank you so much for listening. You guys go out and make it a super day. This podcast contains the opinion and thoughts of its host and guests. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subjects covered. All statements made on the podcast have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. If the listener requires professional assistance or advice, please contact your personal medical doctor. Both host and guest specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any of the contents of these episodes. Like I said, this is my opinion and I could be wrong.